When I started telling stories 20-something years ago, I told them for my daughter, my baby. She was my little girl. And when I started telling stories for my little girl, I would go to her kindergarten class, and everyone would say, "Who are you? Who are you?" And I would say, "I'm Asha's Baba." Do you know what that means? My daughter's name is Asha. I always went around, because I'm proud of my job. My first job in the world is being a dad, the most important job in the world. So whenever I went anywhere, I always told everybody, my daughter's name is Asha. I am Asha's Baba. Does anybody know what Baba means? Dad. It means dad, yes. But now, Asha's not in kindergarten anymore. She's about to graduate college. So now I just go by Baba.
Welcome to the library. Let's go see a show.
Ambiasinana, kumbemba jeli musuninjelekel. Ambiasinana. Listen close, listen close. Bula bula julula, bula bula kwara jaluma. Ambiasinana, kumbemba jeli musuninjelekel. Ambiasinana. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Yeah, Jalia. Oh, come on, let me feel it. Alaleka Jaliada. Oh, come on. Make it sweet. Yeah, Jalia. Yeah, Jalia. Yeah, Alaleka Jaliada. Alaleka Jaliada. Ambia sinana, kumbemba jelin musin jelekel. Ambia sinan. Going back in time, way before Once Upon a Time, in one of the smallest, actually the smallest country in Africa, a country called the Gambia, there was a lake called Lake Sarengo. Can you say Sarengo? Sarengo. Lake Sarengo was famous because it was where all of the little small animals gathered. No big animals, no, only small animals gathered there. And when the small animals would gather around Lake Sarengo, they would drink from the lake because the water was so clean, so pure. And they would play and laugh and meet. But there was another animal who had heard of Lake Sarengo who lived far away. His name was Bombo the crocodile. Yes. And the lake that Bombo the crocodile lived in was not like Sarengo. No, it was green and murky and dirty and smelly. It was so bad. Bombo the crocodile's lake was so bad that it smelled like feet. Yes, it smelled like feet. Let me hear. Yeah, Jalia. Come on, let me feel it. Alaleka Jaliada. Well, Bombo the crocodile heard of Lake Sarengo, so he decided he would travel there. So he traveled, not 1, 2, I think it was more than 3, 4, maybe 5, 6. No, actually it was 7. Well, oh no, I remember. It was a total of 8, 9, 10 days he traveled to get to Lake Sarengo. Batio bating. Batio bating. Bati. Don't forget, I told you that will come out of my mouth. I don't tell you when. Batio bati. Took him 10 days to travel to Lake Sarengo, but when he got there, he slithered into the water. And for the very first time in his life, he tasted clean, fresh, pure water. It tickled his tongue and made his tummy feel so good. He said, It was so good that at that moment, Bumbo the crocodile decided he didn't want to share the waters of Lake Sadingo, so he chased all of the little animals away and told them never to come back. He threatened them. He said, if you ever come back here again, I will eat you. Yeah, Jalia. Yeah, Jalia. Alaleka Jaliada. Alaleka Jaliada. Well, all of the little animals, they left. But how do you think this made them feel? Sad. So sad. They didn't know what to do. They were all afraid of Bumbo the crocodile. But they got an idea. They said, we have a lot of friends who are bigger and stronger than Bumbo. So the little animals went into the jungle to find a champion. Someone who would challenge Bumbo and not be afraid. The animal they found when they went into the jungle was none other than big, strong. Raise your hand if you think you know what animal. What animal was it? What's your name? Brandon, you say gorilla? You think so? Really? Brandon's right. Give him a hand. He got him. Yeah, Talia. Yeah, Talia. Alaleka Jaliada. Alaleka Jaliada. Yes, Brandon, it was a gorilla. And the gorilla, he went to the edge of the waters of Lake Sadingo with all of the little animals following him. And he yelled out to Bumbo. He said, Bumbo, Bumbo, get out here right now. I'm going to beat you up. Bati. Bumbo the crocodile came up out of the water. All you could see was his eyes and sometimes a little of his nose. And he's swimming towards that big, big ape. And he says, Gorilla, if you want to challenge me, you are going to have to jump into the water. Well, the gorilla, he wasn't afraid. He jumped into the water after Bumbo, but Bati. Reciprocity. Bati. He jumped into the water after Bumbo the crocodile, but I'm going to ask you a question. Who swims better? Crocodile or gorilla? Crocodile. Okay, how many people say gorilla? Raise your hands. Okay, hands down. How many people say crocodile? Raise your hands. Okay. Why do you say crocodile? Why? Because crocodiles swim all the time. You're right. What is your name? Sean. Crocodiles swim all the time. They live in the water. Give Sean a hand. He is right. Yes. Yeah, Talia. Alaleka Jaliada. Yes, Sean. That crocodile chased that gorilla out of the water and had no problem with him. But the little animals did not give up. No, they went back into the jungle to find another champion. This time they went into the jungle and they found... You had your hand up first. What did they find? What's your name? Philip? You think it was a lion? Are you sure? You positive? You don't want to change that answer? Philip is right. Give him a hand. He got it. Yes. Yes, Philip, it was a lion. And the lion went to the edge of the waters of Lake Sadingo with all of the little animals following them. And when he got there, he yelled out. He said, Bumbo, Bumbo, get out here right now. I'm going to beat you up. Bumbo the crocodile came up out of the water. All you could see was his eyes, sometimes his nose, and he's swimming towards that lion. And he says, Lion, if you want to challenge me, you are going to have to jump into the water. Bati. So the lion had no fear. The lion jumped into the water after Bumbo the crocodile. And I ask you now, who swims better, a crocodile or a lion? Crocodile. How many people say crocodile? Raise your hand. How many people say lion? Raise your hand again. It was the crocodile. Why? Tell me why. Because the crocodile lives in water. Yes. Yeah, Jalia. Yeah, Jalia. Alaleka jaliada. The little animals kept finding champions to challenge Bombo, but no one could ever beat him. Not one of the big animals went, bati. One day, all the little animals are gathered around, and they're almost in tears. And they're saying, we're never going to get Lake Sarengo back. And they're crying. When they hear a voice, Batio Bati. When they hear a voice, Batio Bati. The voice says, from among the crowd of animals, the voice says, this is what it said. The voice said, Happy Bumbo. The animals looked around. They said, did you hear that? Did you hear? Did you hear? It sounded like someone with a little bitty small voice said they would beat Bombo. They looked around, but they couldn't find where the voice was coming from, when again they heard the voice say, I'll beat Bombo. They looked around, and then in the middle of all the animals, they spread out. And right there was the smallest of all of the animals. It was a... You have your hand up already? You think you know? Tell me your name first. What is your name? What's your name? Genesis? Genesis. That's your name? That's a beautiful name. Okay, Genesis? I think you're going to get it wrong. In fact, Genesis, I know you're going to get it wrong. What do you think that little tiny animal was that said she would beat Bombo? You said mouse? She got it. Give her a hand. Yes, Genesis, it was a mouse. Yeah, Jalia. Yeah, Jalia. Alaleka Jaliada. That little mouse, she told all of the animals that she could do it if they only listened to her plan. She had a plan. So she gathered all of the animals around, and then they headed down to Lake Sarengo. Batio Bati? Bati. They headed down to Lake Sarengo. When they got to the edge of the lake, that little mouse stood there and told all of the animals to surround the lake. So all of the animals went all around the lake. Batio Bati? Bati. And then that little mouse stood there and she yelled out at the top of her lungs, she yelled, Bombo, get out here. So Bombo the crocodile came from the bottom of the lake. All you could see was his eyes and a little bit of his nose, and he's swimming, and he sees that mouse at the edge of the lake, at the edge of Lake Sarengo. And Bombo the crocodile says, is that a mouse? A mouse dares to come challenge me, Bombo, the great crocodile. So he opens his mouth and he tells that mouse, he says, I'm going to have you for breakfast. Batio Bati? Bati. So he swims towards the mouse. Batio Bati? Bati. But that mouse stands her ground like this. And when Bombo gets really close, the mouse backs away and she raises both of her hands and does like this. When she does that, all of the other animals, way at the far end of the lake, they come into the water, and all of the little animals way down at the other end of the lake, they begin drinking water. Bombo, he spins around and he sees all of the other animals at the far end of the lake. And he says, they're drinking my water. So how do you think he felt? Angry, yes, angry. So he turns around and he swims towards all of those animals at the other end of the lake. Now when he almost gets there, that little mouse, oh, that smart little mouse, she raises both of her arms and does like this again. And then all of those animals, they back away from the water, and the animals way over there come into the water and begin drinking. Bombo spins around, he sees them. He says, no, you can't have any of my water. So Bombo begins to swim over towards those animals. Now he gets over there, and the little mouse, what does she do? She waves her hands, and then they start drinking.